Hey there, my name is Nico and today I'll show you how to create a beautiful floral decoration for your lettering. Even if you're not into lettering, this tutorial will help you design stunning floral patterns, compositions, and more. We'll be using the Floral Composition Kit from the Mega Floral Decorations Kit to easily create this beautifully detailed design. I'm creating on Procreate, but the brushes are also available for Photoshop and Affinity. First, I'll walk you through the brush categories in this pack to familiarize you with the design options and how to use these brushes to create stunning floral compositions. I'll include the links for the worksheet and where to get the brushes in the description below. Let's get started. The first brush category of this pack is the leaf stem stamps. You have a selection of brushed leaf designs. The first four brushes are liner brushes for creating aligned or circular leaf arrangements. And the rest are stamps that follow the direction of your Apple Pencil. Like this. Like a path or a line. And these are stamps. Facing up, oops. Facing up, facing down. Okay. The next categories are layered flower stamps. Create beautiful floral designs by layering the stamps. Create beautiful floral designs by layering the stamps in different colors to craft dynamic flower designs. You can stamp each set following the correct flower arrangement or mix and match the stamps for more creative design. Daisies like that. In the center. The seeds like that. Stamp, 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 stamp. The next brush category, or the next brush categories are the flat leaf stamps and flat flower stamps. If you prefer flat illustration style designs, these next two brush categories are perfect. These stamp brushes offer a variety of options to create modern and minimalist floral designs. Even though they are flat, you can still use them to create layered florals. And lastly, we have some textures. You have a selection of interesting textures to finish and elevate your overall artwork. So those are the brushes we'll use to create a beautiful wreath design for our lettering. Let's begin. Step number 1, add your lettering design. If you want to recreate this project exactly, you can download this lettering. Link is in the description. Otherwise, feel free to create a new lettering or use any previous lettering to decorate. Step number 2, create your wreath structure. Using a leaf stamp brush, create your circular leaf path. So, let's create a new layer. For this one, we are going to use the leaf stem stamps. Select which one or which design you want, and then draw a circle like that. Make sure you hold after you draw the circle so that Procreate will create a smart shape for it and make a really nice circle for you. And I like to mix in two different leaf designs. So I added a new layer and I'm choosing a second design, maybe this one, and then create a smaller wreath. I'm centering this as well. And then I'm going to rotate this to get a nice placement. Oh, I want to make my wreath bigger, so let me just increase the size a bit. Like that, perfect. And then I want to rearrange my lettering, so I'm going to bring this up and just move it a bit, maybe like this. Position it better. And then I plan to add a drop shadow, so I'll just add a drop shadow now. Like that. And let me just make it black for now. Okay. So that I can make sure that it's centered the way I want it to be before I start adding anything else. Okay. Let's hide those first, and then let's recolor this. So maybe choose a nice green. So I'm going to turn on alpha lock on these two layers so that when I fill the layer, it's just going to fill the leaf. It's not going to fill the entire canvas. So I'm going to color both green. And then adjust this a bit. Maybe lighten this and make it less saturated. Like this. For the bottom leaf, maybe make it even lighter and less saturated as well. Maybe a bit lighter and less saturated. There. Step number 3 is to add the base layer of your large flowers. Pick 1 to 2 flower designs and stamp them into your wreath. So, before we start choosing the flower and then just stamping it along the wreath, if you know me, I like to add guides to make sure that everything is placed orderly or neatly. So, I'll just create a new layer first, select any brush, any monoline brush, this, and then I'm going to draw a circle for the area of the flowers. So maybe this size, a little bit bigger than the wreath. I'm gonna move this to the center. Oops, center, like this. Duplicate that and create an inner circle. So a bit smaller. Maybe like this. I'm gonna make sure that it is centered. That. I feel like the bigger circle is a bit too big, so let me just bring it down a little bit. And recenter everything. Perfect. I'm going to merge these two layers and fill in the area and bring the opacity down. Okay. I'll just change it to black for now, like that. And bring it to the bottommost layer. So this is the guide for me when I'm going to add my flowers, so that it's always going to be in a nice ring shape. Because if I don't have this guide, I'll just randomly add in the leaves. When I remove or when I finish, it's not going to be that balanced. So I always like to add this guide to make everything nice and clean and balanced. So let's go back to the third step, which is to add the base layer of your large flowers. So let us go back to the florals pack and choose which flower we want. There's sunflower, daisies, cosmos, I don't know how to pronounce this, geranium, I don't know, daffodils, forget-me-nots, zinnia. Oh, I kind of like this, so let's just use this. Zinnia 1 or 2, you have two different styles. So if you can see the name indicates the group. Okay, for example, if you want to use zinnia, so the first layer is the petals, second layer is the center, third layer is the floret. Okay, so let's select maybe zinnia 1 and let's add that in light pink. Oh, I think I have pink here. Yeah, light pink. Okay, select a large size for it. Oh, why is it too light? Oh, I'm still selected at the layer. Make sure you add a new layer, okay, on top of the wreath. So let's add maybe one here, here, and here. Okay, so I'm just gonna use the selection to just adjust it a little bit. Maybe cover the blank areas. Oh, I think I'm gonna place this here. Okay, and move this a bit here. Okay. Step number 4, add the second layer of your large flowers. So this is the first and base layer. We're going to add the second layer. So we're going to select the design for the second layer and stamp it above the base flowers in a different color. So zinnia petals, the next is zinnia center. So you're going to select that. And I always like to add each element in a separate layer so that if I want to adjust the colors later, it's going to be super easy. Okay, let's select a deeper color, maybe a bit more reddish or a bit more magenta, like that. And earlier we chose the maximum preset size right here on the side. Make sure you choose the same size for the second and third layer, like that. Looks pretty. It feels a bit too saturated, so let me just adjust the saturation a bit, bring it down, and bring the brightness a little bit up. Perfect. Step number 5, add the third layer of your large flowers. If you look here, it's the floret. So select that brush and turn on, or I mean create a new layer, and then we're going to select, let's try white. The next step, which is step number 6, add your layered medium-sized flowers. So the technique here is we're going to add from the largest to the smallest. This is going to make it easier for us to fill our wreath nicely. Let's go back to our brushes. So forget-me-not. Okay, I think this is a nice flower, forget-me-not petals. And let's color this in the light blue color. Now, maybe this one. Make sure you select a new layer and then you stamp them in. Okay, it feels a bit too big, so let's choose the second preset size. Okay, this looks better now. So I'm just gonna try to fill in the spaces that look empty. And I'm trying to add everything, or add all of my flowers within that ring guide right here. Let me just hide that for now. As you can see, it looks more organized, that guide, right? So yeah, just tap in the medium-sized flowers. So I'm adding about 6 here, and this is 4 and 3 because the section, this has a bigger section than this one. So just try to balance everything out. Okay, so I think this is the base layer, and let's add the next layer. Next layer is the center, forget-me-not to center. So let's try a light yellow color. Earlier we chose the second size, so make sure that's selected when you stamp in the second layer. So as you can see, it's super easy. We just stamp, 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 and yeah, we're starting to form our really nice wreath design. And then on a new layer, for the third layer, let's choose white. And third layer is a center, a simple center. So make sure the correct size is selected, otherwise you're gonna get like a clump of white there. So it's the second one. So you're gonna tap that, tap, tap, okay. It's okay if it's not perfectly or exactly aligned. That's the beauty of this. We want some imperfections. So it's okay if it's not perfectly centered there. Now to step number 7, add your smaller filler flowers. We now have our large and medium. This is the third or the last flower that we're going to add, so we want to make sure that we try to fill in the empty spaces as much as possible. Let's go back to our brush pack. So even if you remember earlier, we have the layered flower stamps. We also have the flat flower stamps. These are designed for flat designs or like more modern minimalist style, but you can still use this to layer your flowers. So let me just show you one example. Let's choose a nice flower. Maybe this flat zinnias. Okay, so let's open a new layer and let's maybe choose yellow or a more golden yellow for now. Okay, and oh, it's too big, it has to be small, so make sure you select the right size. Okay, I think this is the right size. So let's just try to fill the space with your flowers. You can hide the rings so that you'll be able to see if the wreath is formed with a really nice shape or not. Okay, I think that looks really nice. Right, let me just adjust these flowers a bit. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so even if these flowers are flat, let's layer them. But before that, let's just grab a simple fine liner and color in this hole right here. Because for the flat design, what you can do is just pick a second color and color drop the inside. That's why there's a hole there. Okay, just fill that in. Okay, a few more to go. Zoom out. Perfect. So since this is a flat flower, there's no specific second layer for that. You could always go back to these layered flower stamps and then just pick any random design. So yeah, maybe zinnia center on a new layer. Let me choose orange, a more orangey color. Okay, let's try that. Stamp. Oh, that's too big. Let's select a smaller size. It's still too big. Let's reduce the size. Yeah, I think. Wait, let me just add maybe 6%. Oops. 6%. Yeah, I think this is the right size. So I'm just tapping the center of all these. Oops. Make sure your palm doesn't accidentally undo any stamp, just like what it did to me. That's why one of the flower has a missing center, but it's okay. Just stamp that again. It's super easy there. And then maybe another layer. You could choose any. Oh, I think this daffodil seeds look nice. Yeah, I just have to make it smaller. There. I think this is perfect. Just tap. Oops. Just tap the center. Make sure you're in a new layer so that if you want to recolor these, you could easily do that. Oops, undo. Tap, 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 tap. Yeah. This is a no stress process. You just choose a flower, pick a color, then tap, tap, tap. There. It looks nice, doesn't it? Okay. Right now in the camera, it looks a bit too teal, but it's actually light blue. Something more periwinkle color. So let me just adjust that a bit. So using hue saturation, I'm going to lighten this a bit and adjust the hue so that it's a little bit more purple rather than teal, and reduce the opacity a bit. I mean the saturation a bit. Also the yellow flowers, I feel like it's too harsh. I want to lighten that. So I'm going to reduce the saturation and increase the size a bit. So it's light and bright like that. It's not too deep. Perfect, perfect. Now to step number 8, add some leaves around the wreath. Pick a large flat leaf and a smaller flat leaf to stamp around your wreath. Okay. But before that, I just want to arrange the layers because I want to bring the biggest flowers on top. So I'm going to move that up. Yeah. And then we're going to add some filler flowers on the leaf layer. So just below the flower layer, add a new layer there. And let's browse through the flat leaf stamps. So I think, oh, these flat eucalyptus looks nice and interesting. So let me just grab that in green and try to stamp it. Okay, that looks nice. It looks nice, right? So I'm just going to add maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then just select one at a time. Turn off magnetics and snapping so that I can try to add this in an area where it feels empty. Yeah, maybe this side, right here. Perfect. Oh, you can also bring back your ring or wreath guide just to make sure that you insert these in the right place. Yeah, so I'll just put here because earlier, oh no, it feels like it's too out there, so I'll just rotate this a bit. Yeah, so that it's gonna be inside the guide. Next is this area feels empty, so I'm gonna grab that. Oops. Make sure I only select this, rotate it, and maybe put it here. Okay, for this one, I feel like it doesn't look empty, but I kind of want to add one here so that it's all gonna be balanced. Okay, and then I need one more, maybe here. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I just added some just to add a bit more contrast. But for this one, I kind of want to make it really light. Oh, I mean, make it really less saturated, like that, and bring it to the bottommost layer. There. Okay, so that it's not too distracting. Okay. So for the smaller flat leaf, let me open up a new layer right above the leaf wreath layer, and I'm going to choose this small flat leaf willow. I'm going to select this color and select a lighter and paler green. Okay, there. Oh, since it's zoomed out, you won't be able to see it, but it's going to look something like this. Some light, loose leaf. Okay, let me just make it less vibrant. I think that's perfect. And then we're just gonna tap it in. Oh, but before that, let me bring back my wreath guide there. But for this one, it's okay to go outside the guides a little bit, just to make it look more natural. Like for the inside, here, and the outside, let me just add some loose leaves outside like that. And then in the middle, just add some leaves to fill the area. That feels empty. Yeah, I think that looks nice. There you have it. Let me just lighten that a little bit more. So it looks more like a filler brush, and let me bring it to the bottommost layer. Perfect. What do you think of this wreath design so far? So as you can see, it's super easy, beginner friendly. You don't need to know how to draw or illustrate realistic leaves and flowers, because I don't. And this brush allows you to create like really nice floral designs. If it feels too plain, a bit too plain to you, what you can do is, for example, this big leaf or a big flower right here. So I'm gonna select that. So I'm gonna select that layer, add a new layer on top, and select any pencil brush. I'm gonna use this graphite liner for my ink lettering pack, and select black. Oh, that's not black. Yeah, this is black. And then just add in some markings like that. Just some straight lines coming from the center, like that. And then I'm going to change the blending mode to overlay or soft light. Soft light looks better like that. So it doesn't look too plain now with those lines. This is optional. It's just a personal preference and my style. So I have one more. Okay, so I'm just gonna add this to the big flowers, because the smaller flowers are already so small that even if I added this effect, it's not gonna be that visible. Let me duplicate that so that it's gonna be slightly more intense, like that. Okay. Before going to step number 9, the last step, let me just bring back my lettering. Okay, obviously the black drop shadow is a bit too harsh, so let me just color pick this yellow and change that to yellow by tapping the layer, turning on alpha lock, tapping it again, fill layer. Yeah, so I think the yellow looks way better than the black. So it's up to you if you want to end with this, or if you want to add a little bit more textures to your leaf and flowers. What you can do is, step number 9, you can finish your lettering piece by adding textures to your lettering, leaf decorations, and background. So for this floral pack, let's go back to the floral pack. You have a lot of textures here, and my favorite texture is the painted wall texture. So let me just grab that, get the black color, and then add it to the base layer, add a new layer there, and then I'm going to brush in that texture like that. Really nice texture. Okay, I want to rotate mine a bit because I want it to look different, like that. Added 2 layers of it, so this is what it looks now, but it feels a bit too harsh. So let me just bring the opacity down just a little bit, maybe to 63%. Perfect. Okay, and then let me just select all of these and group them so that I don't have like a really long like list of layers. Okay. Don't show this part first. Okay, I need to turn this to solid muna. Okay, we're gonna, okay, back to the tutorial. Okay, so for this one, yeah, I kind of want to add some watercolor effect to that. So if you have my watercolor pack, you can use this watery background brush. But if you don't have my pack, I'll show you a quick brush that you can use. So it's somewhere here, I forgot where it is. Under artistic, the wild light brush. Let me double check if this is it. Turn on alpha lock first, and then, oh, is this it? No, this is not it. Maybe it's in abstract. Yes, it's in abstract and storm bay. So what you do is turn alpha lock on. I'm not sure if this is going to be super visible, but let me just do like a quick brush right here. So as you can see, there are some textures, right? I'm going to undo. So that's before and after. Like before and after. You could use this brush to just brush him to add some textures to your floral so that it doesn't look too flat. Okay, but if you have my watercolor pack, you could do this process. So watercolor pack is right here, and the watery background brushes, we're going to use that. So I'm going to use wet ink wash, and then we're going to select the color of the flower, and then we're going to turn it completely white, and then we're just going to brush around it like that to get that nice watercolor effect like that. So we're going to do that here as well. Okay, just make sure you get those uneven coloring like that. But before that, make sure you switch your secondary color to white first. Okay, let's do that again. Hue and saturation, turn it to white. Make sure you're on the right color. We're going to color this pink, right? And the secondary color has to be white. Okay, so we're just going to like brush this nicely like that. You have that really nice watercolor texture. It's a bit faint right now, but we can adjust the curves later on like that, and just like that. Oops. So it looks a bit faint and light right now, so you could just go to curves and create a little S curve like this. Or you could just pull this down a bit like that. This is before and after. Okay, you still have that really nice watercolor wet effect. Let's do that for this medium-sized flower. Oh, before that, for the dot as well. So let's color pick that. And for the dot of the zinnia, it's this one. Turn on alpha lock, hue saturation, turn it to white. There. And then just use this brush to color that just a little bit like that. And then switch to curves and bring this down like that. So before and after, you have that nice watery effect to this as well. Okay, now let's move on to the medium-sized brush, which is the blue flowers, or the medium-sized flowers, I mean. Turn on alpha lock. You can use 2 fingers to swipe the layer. Oh, it's not working. Oh, there. For shortcut, make sure you color pick this periwinkle color. Change that to white, and then start brushing Make sure you color every single one, and then use curves again. Pull this down. You can pull this up a bit if it's too dark. Like that. There, it has that really nice watercolor wash effect. And for the yellow, since it's too small, we could just ignore that. And switch on to the last flower, the yellow flower. Turn on alpha lock, color pick that. Change it to white. And then start brushing. You can see it has a nice light yellow like that. Okay. It's nice to do this technique so that your flowers won't have the exact same shade. Some will be lighter and some will be darker. So just brush it in like that. Make sure you get everything, and then zoom into a few. Use curves. And adjust the curves to how you like it. Perfect. If you want to add more watercolor effect, you can use the watercolor stains. Just pick a different color, a slightly different color, and then just tap it. Do you see that? This one, don't tap directly here. You could tap to the side a bit. As you can see, there's like some difference in color, like this. Yeah, just tap on the edge. This is just some personal touches, minor touches. If you don't have the watercolor pack, you don't need to do this step, but I'm just showing you my process on how I give my designs more watercolory effect, like that. Okay, then let's add the same effect to the leaf at the back. So I color picked that one and selected that layer. It's already in alpha lock. So let's get the ink wet brush again. Switch the color to white. So before you have the leaves, and now you don't have it, but it's okay because we're gonna paint it like here. So we're just gonna do what we did earlier, like that. And then adjust the curves. Like that. And the other one, yeah, this is just to give it a watercolor effect. It's optional, but I feel like these little or minor details will enhance the overall appearance of our work. Yeah, like that. The changes are really not that obvious when everything's zoomed out, but if you zoom it in, you'll see like this little details that makes it look less flat. All right, and then after this, if you want to add one more layer of texture, so on top of everything, I'm going to choose white, and then I'm going to select a texture here in the floral pack. Speckled paper texture. I kind of like this in white. Yeah, there. That looks nice. I like that texture. So this is the before and after. Or after. If you want, you could also experiment with blending mode. You could just change the blending mode. Soft light looks nice. Okay, let me zoom it a bit more. Is before and after. If it's not super obvious, you could brush in a few more layers of that. There. It's before and after. And then you could adjust the opacity if it's too harsh for you. There. And we are done. Isn't it fun and easy to decorate your art with these beautiful floral decorations? The layering technique really gives the design an interesting look, doesn't it? If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more lettering tutorials and tips. I'd love to see your beautiful floral creations, so tag me at nicong.co when you share your work on social media. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and if you want to get this pack, links will be in the description. This is the second tutorial video in this series. Are you ready for another amazing project? See you in the next video.